Parental fatigue, burnout. If you're feeling this, we get it. But there's one thing we use when we're feeling depleted. It's called Rehydrate. Delicious electrolytes that increase blood flow to your brain, organs, and nervous system, boosting your energy without anything nasty. Magic.
Next time you're feeling flat, give Rehydrate a go. Available at Coles. We don't ask people how much food time they've had today, because what I'm really interested in is, what have you eaten today? How are you nourishing your body? It's the Happy Families podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. Hello, my name's Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm here with my wife and co-host, Mrs. Happy Families.
Hello.
Parents to 6 kids. I've written 6 books about raising happy families. I'm thinking about working on another one. I'll tell you more about that another time. I just got the look like you're not seriously going to do that. And today, a new topic that I think it's on the minds of parents like almost no other topic.
Well, tonight, Justin, you're actually going to be hosting a webinar on tweens, teens and screens. This is a really hot topic for any parent out there who has a child old enough to hold a device.
Yeah, and we've had more interest and more people grabbing hold of tickets for this webinar than any that we've done in a long time. It's a really hot button issue. I think COVID has probably exacerbated it.
I think you're spot on with that. So let's actually talk about what you're going to talk about tonight.
Okay.
We've got this big list here of all of these different concerns that parents have, concerns with addiction to our screens, privacy issues for our children and keeping them safe, cyberbullying. I mean, these are big issues for parents.
Yeah, and it keeps going. And if you've watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix...
are you going to talk about that tonight? We
will talk about it briefly. Really compelling documentary, lots to like about it, but also a handful of things that I really didn't like about it. It was not so much a documentary as it was propaganda for Tristan Harris and his Centre for Humane Technology, which I'm a really big fan of and supporter of, but there just wasn't the other side. It was so one-sided. So I'm going to discuss why I loved The Social Dilemma, but why I also hated it, and what we need to know as parents that kind of maybe balances out the conversation just a little bit.
So I've been reading over some of the questions that have been coming through in relation to...
We've kind of been flooded.
...this challenge. And I've got a couple here that I wanted to pass by you.
Yep.
So how much is too much screen time?
We're going to talk about that at length. It's probably the most commonly asked question around screens. To give you a sneak peek of where this is going to go, I want to quote a guy from Oxford. His name's Andrew Przybylski, and he's very much... a bit polarising when it comes to the way we view screens, but something he said has stuck with me forever. He said, we don't ask people how much food time they've had today. Like, Kylie, how much food time have you had? And what's the point of me asking that question? It's a pointless question, right?
Yeah.
Because what I'm really interested in is, what have you eaten today? How are you nourishing your body? That's the real question that matters here. And so by asking how much screen time our kids should be having, it kind of misses the point. It's like saying how much food time. I'm interested in what screen input they're having and what it's doing to their brains and their connections and what it's doing to their physical health. I'm interested in that much more than I'm interested in how much of it they've gotten.
You know, when we ask those kinds of questions, are we actually putting emphasis on the thing that we want to have less emphasis on?
Yeah, kind of. But the thing is, and this is, again, why I kind of disagree with some of what happened in The Social Dilemma, it's actually okay. There's good quality research, lots of very good quality research that says that it's okay to have screen time, and it's even okay to be involved with social media. That's not something that came out in The Social Dilemma. Like I said, I'll unpack that more in the webinar. But I reckon to ask how much screen time a person's having, it's a pointless question. I'm much more interested in, what did you do on your screens today? Or what are you planning on doing on your screens for the next hour? That's more useful than, it's kind of like saying, what are you having for dinner? Because if you're telling me you're going to eat cookies and ice cream, I'm going to say, well, let's make sure that we don't eat too much of that and maybe have it after we've had the nutritional stuff.
So parents with younger children, they want to know whether or not they can actually control the amount of screen time that they have with their children. What would you say to that?
Well, I would say yes. And in the webinar, again, now these questions aren't all planted, by the way, but in the webinar, I'm going to talk about how we set up those parameters. And I'm going to suggest that as our children get older, we give them more and more say in how much screen time they're having. But from the very beginning, our conversation, well, I'm going to talk about 6 C's. I started off with 3 C's. And it just keeps growing because I love alliteration. And
6 is my lucky number.
yeah, 6 C's of screen time is what we're going to talk about. I'll give you a quick sneak peek. So there's consumption, there's creation, there's connection, but we've also got to consider the content and your child. All of those things start with C, and they're the 6 big factors that impact not just how much screen time we're going to let our kids have, because there should be some limit around how much, but also what kind of screen time they're going to have. I think that's where the real gold of tonight's conversation is. I'll give you a quick snapshot. There's active kinds of screen time and there's passive kinds of screen time. So if your kids are actively using screens, that is, if they're using screens in a way where they're connecting with people and they're creating content, those 2 C's, well, that's really healthy for them. But if they're just consuming, endlessly scrolling, using their thumbs and or their pointer finger and just scrolling through that infinity pool of entertainment that doesn't really enlarge our souls, probably not so good. We want to minimize the amount of time.
And it's really easy to get caught up in that vortex of just continual scrolling.
So they're 3 of the C's: content, context, and child are the other ones, and we'll talk about that as well. I think it's also important. Let's check in and find out what other questions parents might want to know answers to. My name's Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm here with my wife, Mrs. Happy Families, Kylie Coulson, co-hosting the Happy Families podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. And we are talking tweens, teens, and screens and questions that have come up that I'll be answering in tonight's webinar, all about how we can manage screen time in our homes.
Well, I think this question is going to probably take up the rest of our time, because parents want to know, can we even have an hour without screens or technology?
I thought you were going to say, can we have an hour without the kids and just let them be on their screen so we can have some peace and quiet? We can have both. I reckon, let me answer the second part of that first, my little joke. I reckon it's perfectly okay now and then to say, hey, kids, go and consume some screens. I just want to spend some time with your mum or your dad. Or we just need some downtime. I want to have a shower in peace. Leave me alone and go and watch your screen. I don't think that's an unhealthy thing. Sometimes life gets like that and we just need some downtime. So parents shouldn't be beating themselves up over that, unless they're doing it all day, every day. The question that you asked, though, is what about when the kids are on the screen and we're like, can we just get you into our space and into our living as a family for an hour without your screen?
So in our home, for instance, we have a rule that we don't bring our phones to the dinner table.
Or the breakfast table, or the lunch table.
The table.
Yeah, if there's food, we're there to commune with one another. We're there to consume and commune. I like that. There's 2 more C's.
2 more C's.
We're up to 8 C's now. So I think that it's really important that we work out how to communicate with the kids so that those moments that need to happen so our family can function well really do occur. I mean, screens displace a lot of things that are really healthy. So we'll talk in the webinar about how we have those conversations with children from toddlers to teens and maybe even our partners, because let's face it, every now and again, Mrs. Happy Families, I do walk into the room and you're watching Netflix in bed because I've been in the office late or I've been dealing with the kids or whatever's going on. And
well, you did throw me under the bus on Friday with our I'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah, well, so screens can be a bit of an issue for adults
even the
as
big
well.
people.
Yeah, even the big people. And we'll be addressing that. I reckon the most important C of all, there's a C for solving all of this.
A C for solving all of this.
I can't help myself.
Only one, not 6.
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah, communicate. Okay, and I'll tell you how to communicate in the webinar. I mean, if you can't get to the webinar, you can actually register for it. And if you're a Happy Families member, by the way, you get the webinar as part of your membership. If you're not a Happy Families member, what are you doing? You should be a member. The family keeps getting bigger literally every day. More and more people are coming on board because there's so much value for your family in that membership. But if you're not a Happy Families member, you can still register for it, pay for it, and then watch it when it suits you. So our time's pretty much up. Tweens, teens and screens.
I think tonight is going to be well worth a listen, Justin.
And there's going to be a lot of people who are online watching it as well. I think it's going to be great. Now, we love it when you jump online and go to the apple.com podcasts page and leave your ratings and reviews. That's how people get to find the podcast, and we get it in front of more and more people. And we received another 5-star review. Don't mind 5-star reviews. I'm just putting it out there. I don't mind
you
them
are
at all.
Enjoying them. So Joe Photo said, this is a really practical support for parents, and I find Justin's insights really valuable, down to earth and real. Highly recommended.
And I reckon Joe Photo would have given us even more than 5 out of 5 if he knew how down to earth and insightful you were as well. But this one came through just before we started the podcast together. So thank you very much, Joe Photo. Please keep those ratings and reviews coming. It takes you about 2 minutes to jump on there and do it, but it makes such a big impact in terms of other people being able to find the podcast and participate in it and obviously get the value that we're offering. So thank you very much for doing that. If you'd like more information about all the ways that we can make your family happier, our memberships are available at happyfamilies.com.au. You can find us on Instagram and you can also find us at Facebook, Dr. Justin Coulson's Happy Families.